Hi guys, it's Tracy in Australia, and I have popped in to share my latest project, which is a Christmas journal. And I've done a few interesting things with this one. I used the no-sew method of binding, which means that I used paper hinges, and I really enjoyed doing that and found it very flexible. You could make the hinges a little bit wider if you had a heavily decorated page, for instance. So I'll leave a link in the description box to the tutorial that I used to do that. And I also decided to do my own pages rather than using a digital or commercial papers. And what I did was to take some old phone book pages, because they're very thin, and to decoupage on both sides of those, so collage papers. And I've used a mixture of papers. You can see a music paper here. This is very old Gothic script, probably 100 years old, from a German novel. I've used various pieces from different dictionaries that I have, French novel pages, all sorts of things that I had in either my scrap box or in my collection of vintage papers. So I heavily gessoed to give a little bit of uniformity to the papers. On the spine, I've covered that with a beautiful embroidered trim, which came from Witchcraft Do You Do. So on the front here, I made a pocket, and out of 3 layers of different fabrics. This one's an old lace trim, and you can see, love the little bit of pink here, which obviously came from the little dress that this was attached to. Then above that is a little frill that is made from organza, and that extends right down to the bottom. And then underneath that is a piece of very old Cluny lace. I added some pearl trim to the front to give a bit of interest, and then this is actually a Christmas decoration that I bought a couple of years ago, and I thought that that would look really nice on a journal. So I did put a focal point on here. It's actually just a commercial card, and I gessoed over that as well to make it blend in. And then I've used a little Tim Holtz saying here. It says bright stars act glitter. So into that I put a commercial card from Stamperia, and then I also made a little booklet. And these images are digitals, and they're from Nostalgic Graphic on Etsy. What I'll do with the digitals that I did use as embellishments in the journal, I'll leave a link to those in the description box. As a tie, I've just used this little bit of vintage lace, and I forgot to mention 5.5 by 7.5 inches long. So the journal ends about here, the frills extend over that. So inside, I continued the chiffon trim around to create a little pocket, and just popped a few little tickets and a little piece of paper in there. Made a little chiffon bow out of some torn fabric, and on the side I've made a little pocket with some lace, and then added a little bit of vintage braid. There's a little cluster up the top, and off that I've hung a bulb pin, a little bit of ribbon, and then some commercial tags. And into the pocket I popped a little envelope that I made using a die, and inside that there's a little heart, and it says I'll have to put my glasses on to read this, getting very old. Tender memories wake and say forget me not on Christmas Day. And that's a little piece that came from the Graphics Fairy. I find the Graphics Fairy have some really wonderful authentic digitals, and they have a lot of free ones, but you can also join a paid membership. So this is a little pocket that flips out, and it's I've used a little magnet to keep that in place. So I love this little photo, and there are actually little pink roses on that hat, and so I've just used a touch of pink throughout the journal. Sorry about all the shadows. It's early in the morning here, and I just wanted to get this made. It's going to be quite hot here today. So I've popped in a couple of pieces of ephemera. Love this image of a horse drawing a sleigh, and behind it person walking with a Christmas tree, so very vintage. Use lots of bits of brown paper to give that a little bit of interest. The cover of some sheet music, and this is a digital that I recently purchased. It's a pink French check. So the photo is attached with photo corners, and I have backed that so you can write on it, and you could also put something special behind there because you can take the photo out. I used a little bit of rhinestone trim there for a little bit of bling because I like that in my Christmas journals. This one, I have used an envelope as a pocket, just used a little bit of glitter washi on the side there, and then popped in some pieces of ephemera. These were all digitals. Again, with the vintage photo, there's a little touch of pink on the girl's hat, and I've backed it so that you could write on that. I just like how adding that darker cream color in there just helps that all to come alive. So this is a commercial paper, and I've actually used that as the hinge, and then created a little closure here so that actually is like a pocket. And just pop this little piece in. It's from, I think it was a freebie from Shabby Art Boutique, an Australian creator. And then this is one of my favorite Christmas images because it has a little poodle, and poodles are very dear to my heart. So I try and get them in just as a little memory to a lot of things that I make. So this one, I created another little tuck bot with using the magnet. That opens up, you could put something here. And then a couple of little cards. These are also from Shabby Art Boutique, and they're really pretty. And then a Stamperia commercial piece. Now this is a little flip out. Again, little pocket made from lace, and a card, photo postcard. I made a little pocket here and pop with a die cut, pop some pieces in, including a little angel. And then made the Miracle of Christmas, fill your heart with joy, and I've got an image of the Madonna and Child. This was something, this little row of envelopes was something I saw on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and that inspired me to do this. Then I added behind it this gathered gold crepe paper, which I really, really like. I have lots of dies for small envelopes, and so this was a really good way to use them. So these all open. Some of them have little pieces inside them, and other ones you could pop something in. So again, some pink ephemera and a letter, a faux letter. I just left this page so that you could see all the beautiful collaging, and then I made a little cluster up in the corner, and that little dangle says joy. Here I used this little card and glued another piece to the back so that it acts as a pocket, and just pop some pieces in there. There's some little stars in there. For a bit of sparkle. And this one is a Stamperia card that flips up, and I've made another little pocket, again the little rhinestones, and popped some tags with that show Christmas trees. This pocket I made from embossed white paper, and then added some very pretty trims. This is an old pink lace fabric, and then this gorgeous flocked and gathered white tulle. I've added in some little rhinestones, and this is a beautiful gold net, and it has I've turned that into a bow. So again, an old photo that I've reproduced and backed so that you could write on that. Something that I don't do but I see all the time is covered paper clips, and so I did one here, and I've added lots of little things to it, laces. There's some of the pearl trim, and then there's a little dangle here. It says handmade with love. Lots of little bits up there, and then I just popped two digital pieces in there. On the back, I stamped a crown. I used gold glitter embossing powder and fussy cut that, and then popped in this beautiful copy of a holy card, which I've added some I like those Tim Holtz impresslets, and they remind me of the gold, what do they call it? There's a gold trim, and it has a German name. It escapes me. I'll remember it later on. And this reminds me of that, and I've added that to the bottom. Beautiful old image of the Christ child, and I've added individual diamantes around that. Again, I just used that trim as a pocket and popped in a copy of some sheet music for Oh Holy Night. Dresden, that's what this is, Dresden. It reminds me of Dresden trim, which I would really love some vintage Dresden trim. So for my last image, I have embossed with a snowflake embossing folder, and then put an AI of a white Christmas tree decorated in pink. It's all very pretty. Some chiffon, gathered chiffon, and then some diamantes, and you can actually take that out. And I think underneath it, I've put a pink Santa Claus. Okay, so that is my little make for Christmas, and I hope that you have found it interesting or inspiring. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.